A TomTom satellite navigation unit drizzled in honey. A Helinox chair with crisp, fresh iceberg lettuce. High-end LED fog lights dipped in creamy milk chocolate. Climb jackets sprinkled with free-range goat's cheese. And Schuberth helmets with a naturally sourced cherry on top. This isn't just any adventure bike shop. This is the adventure bike shop. The Adventure Bike Shop.
Rubbish adverts.
Greater adventure.
Hello and welcome to Adventure Bike TV. Now I'm going to start the show by saying a big thank you to the stand-in presenter last month. Sam, thank you for doing the very best job you could. Well done. But now it's time for the bike review. And last month I made the observation that there's only 2 manufacturers bringing out brand new big adventure bikes this year. And one of them is making a very bold claim.
Our Max panniers include all features within the price. You don't end up paying extra for locks and handles. There are no hidden costs. Metal Mule. Engineered to be different. Proud sponsors of the bike reviews on Adventure Bike TV.
With the hardcore adventurer in mind, this bike balances the power of a twin with the lightness and agility of a single-cylinder off-road bike to open up new riding possibilities. At least, that's what the KTM blurb says. Theoretically, that means I can replace my twin-cylinder 1190 Adventure and my 525 single-cylinder Enduro with just this one bike. And this bike is the KTM 790 Adventure R. I've got a bit of an admission to make, despite the fact that from time to time my blood has been known to run a little bit orange. I have some reservations about KTM's claim. I just don't see how you can have 2 bikes into one. Surely there must be a compromise somewhere. Now, KTM have got an immense reputation for making great off-road bikes, so the place where we're going to start testing this machine is on the tarmac. The 790 starts with some very impressive figures on paper. Less than 190 kilos dry. That's 40 kilos lighter than the Honda Africa Twin and 20 kilos lighter than a Triumph Tiger 800. And yet the 790 produces almost exactly the same horsepower as both bikes. 94 horsepower to be exact. It is very, very rarely that I feel myself almost lost for words. From the first 5 seconds I was out on the tarmac on this bike, I have been utterly blown away. Now I think in my head I was thinking of a comparison between the Triumph 800 or the Africa Twin because they're similar horsepower, but this is just a different matter altogether. It is astonishing. And this bike's limited to 6,500 revs because it's still been run in. The closest comparison I can make, I think, is probably riding a Supermoto, and that says something about how incredible this bike is on the tarmac. It inspired my confidence, it was fast, and it was utterly exhilarating. Now it's time to take this bike off-road, where I would expect its natural home to be, but of course it's just amazing on the tarmac, as I've already said. And to take it off-road, we've got to put it into rally mode, which is dead easy, just using the switches here. It's as simple as set, ride mode, take it off a street, put it into rally, and we're ready to go. The 790 comes with all the regular gadgetry wizardry that we've come to expect from modern adventure bikes, but it also has a little something extra. Riding modes include a brand new rally mode, which enables you to play with the amount of rear wheel slip, and to do so easily from levels 1 to 9 whilst riding. It means you should be able to tailor the electronics to the terrain, whether that be wet or muddy conditions, through the tarmac, or even my personal favourite, sand. And KTM say there's no compromise on fuel tank range. One of the bike's design criteria was to have a proper adventure distance range, 280 miles. 280 miles? That's crazy on a bike this powerful and light. And all that fuel is stored right down low in those slightly controversial tanks to concentrate mass around the centre point. Oh, that was something else. Oh, I was wondering, would there be any compromise at all with this being such a great bike on the tarmac by riding it off-road? And the answer is a very, very simple no. It reminds me of riding my 525, but in a big adventure bike. And that rally mode, where you can change the amount of slip that you want as you're riding, just makes it so much fun. If you're riding through thick mud or something really slippery, have it down in 1. If you want to get a lot of spin, it's up in 9. It is astonishing. The reason I'm sat down to finish off the bike review is to hide the immense boner I have for this motorbike. Anyway, we were talking to some of the guys earlier, and a couple of them said that they thought this bike was the love child of the 1290 Adventure and a 450 EXC. I actually think it's more like the love child of the 690 Enduro R and a Ducati Multistrada, because it's got that light flickability that you get on the tarmac with the Multistrada, combined with the outstanding off-road capability of the 690. Now, the guys at MCN called this bike a game changer. And you know what? I think that's an understatement. This bike is more than a game changer. It changes the rules by which the game is played. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, so how much do you reckon I get for my 1190? Yeah, it's about 22,000 miles on it. Okay, I see. So what about if I threw in my 525 EXC as well? How much for that altogether? Okay.
Our Max panniers include all features within the price. You don't end up paying extra for locks and handles. There are no hidden costs. Metal Mule, engineered to be different. Proud sponsors of the bike reviews on Adventure Bike TV.
It is so rarely that I am totally blown off my feet by a new motorbike, but that bike just ticked every single box. Now it's time for the penultimate Belgium Tales from the Trails. We've just been following some very, very bumpy and very slippery cobblestones, which Tom really, really doesn't like. Back on the Tet, our hearts were now fully reinflated with off-road eagerness. Thankfully, the hated sand was gone, replaced with dusty trails.
Today you'll be riding the Tet, including an attempt at a challenging section which is described as not suitable for big bikes. Good luck with that.
Bring it on.
Yeah. You will also be close to Ypres. No, that's
to where?
Yeah. That place I can't say, it's YPRES. That says Ypres. I'm dyslexic. What is it?
Eep.
Eep. See? That should be EPE. I was going to say there's not going to be P in it. Okay, you will also be close to Eep. Of course, you will know about Eep because of its historical significance. Be respectful and enjoy your last full day of your Belgium adventure. Cool.
Today's trail started as mostly farm tracks, nice and easy in this weather, but I can imagine they could get very muddy and slippery in wetter conditions.
The one my heart has gone to mean I want to wait. Mean I want to wait. Eco tick. Eco, eco, eco tock. Eco tick. Eco, eco, eco tock. Eco tick. Eco, eco, eco tock.
The scenery was stunning, and again, the riding wasn't hard, but it was fun. And without a doubt, if someone is new to the trail riding world, this would be a great introduction. We're an hour away from Ypres in Belgium here, and don't let this idyllic surroundings fool you. This whole area was a battlefield during World War I and II. You can still find evidence of that here. For instance, riding along this road, we happen to come across a shell here. But this is just a stately reminder of the horrors that went on during those times, and they're all around us.
Things were going great until, that is,
What's happened, Sam?
Bit of a flat tyre.
Flat tyre.
oh, nasty. So after a quick Google, I found a garage just up the road, and Tom headed off to request help.
Okay, so there's a guy about 5 minutes away, probably 5 minutes walking, a minute on the bikes. Very nice man, speaks a bit of English. Said he's happy for us to kind of go there and sort the bike out. He looks like he's got a lot on, so I don't know whether he'll be able to help us, but he's happy for us to use his air and do it there, and his expertise there if we need it. But we'll take it down there and see where we go from there. So Sam, before we left on this trip, you specifically said, can this be like Top Gear, and if someone breaks down they just get left behind? How are you feeling about the suggestion now that your bike has been your bike has broken down?
Don't know, but can't remember that conversation, to be honest with you. Okay, so I might have remembered that conversation, but I wasn't going to tell them. Anyway, I got the tyre fixed all on my own, without any help from anyone, so I would have been fined even if they had buggered off. 2 years around the world, first puncher in Belgium, of all places. But who would have known? Belgium's for the hardcore. This is Guy. He has helped us fix the puncture that had befallen us on the Trans-European trail, but thankfully it happened here, and he helped us, and we've been able to also have a look at his magnificent V8 Defender, and well, we don't know what's underneath the...
It's a little Porsche.
It's just a little Porsche. Yes. Oh. and Guy's little Porsche.
We're right at the start of the section of the text where it says not for big bikes, and we weren't quite sure why, and we just had a quick look, and I think it's because it's just single track, so I can't see anywhere that if you get stuck down there you can turn around, which is going to make it fun. But it doesn't look like it's difficult, it just looks like there's no turning around, but they may be famous last words.
1, 2, 3, jump!
They were not famous last words. It was still grin factor 4. Well, that's out of 10, so a good laugh, but nowhere near as technical as the TET in some other countries. It was still good to do something a little bit harder than the previous days. Well, I say harder. It was narrower and a bit bumpy, but very short, flat and not slippery. So, not really much harder at all. Well, but you know what I mean. Find me anything other than tarmac, and I will be smiling.
Get wild.
Just done the bit of the Belgian tech that says not suitable for big bikes on our big bikes, which kind of says it can be suitable for big bikes. Having said that, I think we said it is along a riverbank, and in some places it does slide down sort of towards the river, and there's a few big dips. So I think if it was pouring with rain and it was midwinter, if you rode it slowly on a big bike, you'd probably be okay. But if you weren't happy on a big bike in the mud,
Yeah, I think
could be nasty.
Yeah, I think you've got to have the confidence to do it on a big bike.
Yeah.
And as Graham said, if you're not 100% off-road, then don't do it. But it's easily doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've enjoyed it anyway. Doesn't that just go to show one of the great things about even short adventures is just finding the unexpected like we did at Ypres. Now it's time for Under the Visor.
Don't ride here. Ride here. Explore new horizons with Moto Freight. Proud sponsors of Under the Visor.
My name's Stephen Marsh. I've got a passion for biking and I've also got a passion for wildlife, particularly whales, dolphins and porpoises. And I'm planning to get out in the world next year to see as many species as I can from a standing start on a trip called Around the World in 80 Whales. No, it's definitely not the country, it's the Wales with the H. I've been working for charities now for about 12 years, and one of them, the first one that I worked for, was a whale and dolphin survey charity. So we train people to go out to sea and do surveys on ferries and cruise ships looking at whale populations. Then I got a job with a rescue charity in the UK, so we rescue whales, dolphins and porpoises. So for the last dozen years, every day of my life has been focused on those animals, on marine mammals. The great thing is there are only 89 species in the world. I've probably seen about half of them already, but the plan is to use that really as an excuse to get around the world and go to some far-flung places to see as many as I can again from a standing start. Well, obviously there's a lot of land involved because I'm going to have to go overland to get from A to B. On the sea trips then I'll be, hopefully part of it is not just seeing the animals, but it's going and meeting the people who rescue them, who research them, who act in conservation for them as well. So I'm going to be creating a bit of a blog and a little bit of awareness for projects all around the world as well, hopefully. So I should be getting out with them in their boats possibly, but also going out on whale watching trips. I give lectures on cruise ships already about wildlife, so if there's a big trip that I need to do, like South Africa to South America, I don't really want to pay for it. So I'm going to try and get a gig on a cruise ship as a lecturer, do it that way, and obviously that gives me the opportunity to look out for whales and dolphins on the trip as well. But in terms of the overland stuff, this is going to take me into quite a few different areas. I'll probably start in New Zealand, have a few months there, into Australia, maybe out to Indonesia. I've got to get up into China, got to get into Bangladesh, got to get into Nepal. Close to home Africa, I've got to do most of the African countries, or the South African countries anyway. South America, Orinoco, Amazon, Chile, the whole lot. Got to get down to Antarctica, got to get up to the Arctic. So you can see it's going to be all over the place. Bit of a spaghetti junction really. I don't know. I'm going to leave my bike at home, probably sell it, because I haven't got any money. I've got to sell up before I go out there. I haven't got any free flow money anyway. So the idea, because of not problems, but all of the eccentricities, if you like, of getting bikes into New Zealand, getting bikes into Australia and all of that sort of stuff, and carnets and all that sort of stuff, I thought I'd start off by going to New Zealand, buying a bike, second-hand bike in New Zealand, running it for a few months, selling it, going to Oz, doing the same there, and then gradually I'll get a lot of experience on a lot of different bikes. That will be part of the adventure because I never know what I'm going to turn up with next. Some of the areas I might look at sponsorship if there's any sponsorship going, but it's really difficult to get from unless you're taking it all the way around the world. I do wonder about getting maybe a Honda CRF 250 Rally, or my ideal bike would be the CCM 450 GP or GP 450, but they're like hen's teeth. That one I probably would take around the world with me, but at the moment I'm on a Beamer, too big, I can't even pick it up. So I want lightweight bikes and whatever's needed for that bit of the country that I'm going to be going through and see how it goes. Well, this is a life change for me. So it could be, I'm budgeting 2 years at least. As I say, I don't think I'm going to see everything I want to see. So even when I finish that 2 years, I'm probably going to say, right, I've still got another year to go. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I might end up buying somewhere else in the world and staying there. So I really don't know. I mean, this is the big move. This is the big one for me. But 2 years at least, and longer after that probably. Yeah, no, I've made some pretty big decisions in my life before. I think the most daunting thing that I'm looking at the moment is just selling a house. You know, that's the most frightening thing, because if I don't sell a house, then it's off. You know, I've got to do a drawdown on the pension or whatever, but I'll still have the house. And I don't want any ties back here at all, because even renting it out and, you know, getting the money in to do the travelling there, I'd much rather have the pot of cash that I can invest and then spend the interest on it. So that's quite daunting. Travelling has never worried me at all. Part of quite a few communities, Hub International, the biking lot with Overland and all of that. Certainly all the scientists that are studying the whales and dolphins that I want to go and see. And when I went public on it a couple of weeks ago on Facebook, all of a sudden the offers start flooding in. Oh, you're coming here, you're coming there. Oh, do you want to go out to Tonga? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? So I'm pretty hopeful that side of it I'm going to find exciting, but it's not going to worry me. I don't really plan that much for myself. I'm great at planning for other people, but for myself I don't really plan that much. And if I'm going to fork off, if I can use that phrase, I will fork off. I've got a website, so there'll be a blog on there as well. It's called www.atw80w.com. So that's atw80w.com, stands for Around the World in 80 Wales.com. So I'll just be putting a lot of background on there and uploading photographs, uploading the stories, and doing a lot of blogs up there as well. So come and join me.
Don't ride here. Ride here. Explore new horizons with MotoFreight. Proud sponsors of Under the Visor.
As always, another fascinating and insightful Under the Visor. Now it's time for a short break, and afterwards we will not be back with the second-hand bike review.
A TomTom satellite navigation unit drizzled in honey. The Adventure Bike Shop.
Rubbish adverts.
Greater adventure.
In my experience, there are three things that broaden the mind. One is hallucinogenics. And the second thing, well, that's traffic. The third thing, of course, is a good read.
When you read or listen to Graham Field's motorcycle travel books, it's not an uphill struggle. You just go along for the trip.
Climb jackets, sprinkled with free-range goat's cheese. The Adventure Bike Shop.
Rubbish adverts.
Greater adventure.
As I mentioned earlier, there's no second-hand bike review this month, but we have got a little something for you, where for the first time we've got the whole Adventure Bike TV team together.
We decided we wanted to improve our off-road skills. What are you doing here? Well, I haven't got a second-hand bike review this month, and, you know, I thought...
Yeah, but exactly. Second-hand bike review is your bit. So if you're not doing that, then I'm the host, so I should be presenting it.
Well, what am I going to do then?
Well, you can work with me.
Yeah, well, all right, we'll see about that. So, we thought it'd be a great idea to bring the entire team together and do a bit of off-road training.
Now, there are many off-road training schools and experiences that you can do all over the country, but we have come to the biggest and the newest, It's the Sweet Lamb KTM Adventure Bike Experience.
And guess what? It's the only school with all new 790 Adventure Rs.
It's been wicked, right? We started off doing just little bits and bobs, scouted out, kind of like ride out just to check on how we're riding, because there's a few of us that may have picked up some bad habits and some of us haven't been riding for quite some time. So it was a nice little kind of introduction to see where we were going wrong.
Actually, the hardest part of the day for me was getting on the bike. My bikes are quite small. I ride a sports tourer and a classic retro, so to actually get on one of these was quite interesting. But soon settled down. They got us out on a gentle ride to start with, a fairly short ride but still fairly good. And at the end of that, Mark pulled us to one side and gave us a few top tips about what we could do better, and immediately those things made a difference to my riding.
The instructors come out, they watch what we're doing and give us some basic feedback. Then it's on to the skills course to do some slow speed training, of which I don't think you can get enough of that because it improves your riding no end.
So the first thing we did, we got taught, was how to brake and slow manoeuvres and stuff like that. So it was quite, funny enough, it's a lot more difficult doing it slower than it is doing it fast. Initially we had to just use the back brake at a comfortable speed, and then the next time we had to do the back and the front brake. Now the problem I had was I was having too much fun just using the back brake and skidding, so I forgot to actually apply the front brake. But when I did, I mean, the difference is amazing. The back brake is useless to stop, but combined with the front, it was amazing.
Loving it, loving every minute of it. I just want to do this day and night, and I have to say, Mark is amazing. He's really encouraging, and there's things that I thought I've always wanted to do, and I thought, oh, I don't know if I could do them, and I'm doing it! Woo! It's genuinely brilliant. Fantastic.
Now, I'm a little bit used to Mark's teaching, so I've got maybe a slightly different perspective because I know he's good. So for me, what I find incredible here is just watching how, particularly the guys who are a little bit less confident, have done a little bit less off-road riding, is watching their confidence grow just over the course of a few hours. But as always, I've learned some new stuff, and riding those 790s has just been a blast.
My riding's definitely improved. I mean, I haven't been off-roading properly for quite some time. So what I thought I was doing correct, as I said before, I'm not. And so I now can work on it, and I feel I can kind of really work the bike a bit harder. And the nice thing is that when you did come a bit unstuck in some of these points, Mark and his team would come, they'd just kind of tell you little tips and tricks to kind of get through it. And then further along the way, you'd use those tips and you'll find you'd be able to push that little bit more. And then towards the end, I mean, you were flying around the corners. It was really amazing.
Usual, every time I do some sort of training with Molly, I learn something brand new every single time. Key takeaway so far today is using the rear brake to load the front, so that when I brake hard in the front, even on the soft gravel and the mud, you get much better grip on the front when you're braking.
They're doing very well, actually. I have to say, they're doing everything we ask of them, and the sequence they're doing it in works. So they've done really well.
We were doing little slaloms and going across things that I blatantly fell off, but hey, that was all part of the process. And Mark and Pat are the kind of nicest and just calmest and clearest people possible.
Well, the teachers here at Sweet Lamb are pretty amazing. I mean, Mark especially, and he's really one to kind of stop, talk you through it, not shout or scream at you, but just, you know, talk you through it, and is quite happy to discuss something in a really relaxed way. So, I mean, one of the best teachers I've ever had.
Well, a real highlight of the day for me is I love the mountains, so riding through the scenery here and the wide open areas that we got to were fantastic. The roads here are really good. There's some really steep ascents and there's some really steep descents, but all the time I felt in control of the bike. Yeah, the countryside here makes it a brilliant trip.
I've been smiling so much about how beautiful it is, and we've been so fortunate with the weather, but even on a bad day, I can imagine this just being absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's an enjoyable day out. It's really fun, intuitive, with some really great people that are very easygoing and down to earth. I cannot recommend it enough. I'm coming back, for sure.
Sweet Lamb's been one of my favourite places to ride for a very long time, so I'm so pleased they've got together with KTM to create the Adventure Bike experience. Now, Adventure Bike TV's big competition for the 790 Adventure R. You can also win a weekend of training at the KTM Sweet Lamb Adventure Bike experience, where you can hone your skills to perfection. Speaking of competitions, here's Claire with what you can win this month.
Hello everyone, and today I get to tell you guys about the competition. So, if you enter the competition, not only do you get to go in for winning one of the most coolest prizes ever, which is the KTM 790. I'm saying it's cool because you'll see I've ridden it and it's amazing. Absolutely loved it. But you also get the chance to go along to the KTM Experience Day of Awesomeness. What is it? The Sweet Lamb KTM Adventure Bike Experience, because I totally got that right the first time round. But it's with Mark and he's amazing. We got a ride with him this weekend and I have to say, phenomenal course. You guys will love it. So not only will you be able to enter in for that, which will be kind of sorted out at the end of the year, but you also get to enter for the monthly prize. And in the monthly prize this month is, drumroll. Okay, so in first place we have the LS2 Pioneer MX436 Element helmet. I have to say this is a pretty wicked prize. It looks awesome. Not only that, it's got an internal sun visor, and yeah, you want to get your hands on this bad boy. In second place, we have the Ultimate Add-ons phone kit for you, which we will make sure fits your phone. Not only is it waterproof, but you can still use your touch screen and use your camera, and we will make sure it's fully attachable to your bike. And in third place, we've got the Diamond Bright motorcycle cleaning kit, which is one of the most thorough cleaning kits you can get on the market. And of course, for all of our winners, our first, second and third prize will get an Adventure Bike TV t-shirt. So get yourself online. It's only £2 to enter. You can enter as many times as you like. And go to www.adventurebiketv.com and yeah, get on it. Plus you can win a 790. I mean, seriously, why can't I enter it, Tom? Let me enter it. Go, go, go!
Thank you, Claire, for letting us know what you can win in this month's competition. Now it's time for the Info Hub, where you can see some more of Claire. It's almost like it's Claire's show this month.
Hi everyone and welcome to Meals on Two Wheels. Today I'm going to be cooking you a chicken satay stir fry. So ingredient wise, we've got some chicken, we've got some chopped veg, mange tout, some carrots, some asparagus, some chilli at the back here, lemon and some chopped up garlic. Also over here some sugar, ideally if you can get brown sugar that's amazing, but this will do for now. And also some flour. One of the main ingredients, very tasty peanut butter. Some soy sauce in a mega huge bottle, excuse that. Some chicken stock, water, and some oil. And that's all you need. Right, so first things first, I'm gonna cook the satay sauce. In general, what you want to be using is some really good peanut butter. You can use pretty much anything you come across though. And for what you use peanut butter, you're probably gonna use this twice as much stock or water. So literally scoop your peanut butter in. For this amount of chicken, I reckon I'm going to probably use 2/3 of the peanut butter. So I've got that in there. As you can see, it's starting to kind of melt down. I'm going to be putting in some water. At the moment, I'm going to use half a cup just to kind of get it going. And also a stock cube, a whole stock cube at this point. Slowly but surely, we're going to let it mush down into a nice thick sauce. It never looks pretty. It always looks really manky actually, but it tastes really good, I promise you. Now, as you can see, that's kind of loosened up a little bit. The stock cube is still melting into that, so we'll let that keep going a little bit. But you will end up adding more and more water because it will thicken up. This is a nice consistency at the moment, and I suggest at this point putting in some soy sauce. Now for this amount, so that's about 2/3 of the peanut butter, you would put in probably about a tablespoon of soy sauce. Now this stuff that I've got is really strong soy sauce wise, so I'll probably be a bit more conservative and probably just put in maybe half a tablespoon, and it turns it this lovely kind of marble colour, and you mix it in, it goes a nice deep colour there. I like it. Now this is when the sugar comes in. Probably going to use 2 pinches worth in this amount, may add a little bit more, but really this is just for you to taste and decide how much you really want to put in there. But look at that, that's the kind of sauce you want, really nice kind of glossy sauce. And yeah, that in essence is your stock. I'm going to just give it a bit of a taste. Ooh, ooh, that is good. So, sauce is already cooked. Next thing we're going to do is do the chicken. All you need to do is coat your chicken, good old mix in, so it's nicely coated. So let's get this cooking. I'm going to put it on a high heat. Now I'm going to actually put in quite a bit of oil for this to make it nice and crispy. Right, so I think we're getting to the point where the pan is hot enough. Just give it a little check, put some chicken in, see it sizzling there. That's what you want. Good old sizzle on. So get your chicken, chuck it in. Okay, so the chicken's in there, cooking off. And we're just gonna leave it for a little while. So now the chicken's at this stage where it's cooked through. I'm gonna add in some garlic, which I've got here, and also some of our veg. Okay, so my vegetables are now nicely cooked through, but not too soft. And yeah, I think we're at the stage now where we're gonna add our lovely peanut salsa sauce, heat it through. Oh, the smell, the aromas from this. That is good. I've already pre-cooked some rice, and then we're done. Let's pour this on. Right, so I'm going to give mine a go. See how it tastes. So good. Honestly.
It's my favourite bit of the day.
Welcome to some satay delight. Go on, tell me what you think.
Oh, so good.
Yeah? Yeah, guys, this is my chicken satay. I hope you enjoy it. Go home, give it a try at home, and yeah, look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.
Bye. This month's Top Tech is a set of cleaning products, but these are a bit special. Diamond Bright's main business is dealer applied paint protection. So when you get a new bike, you can ask your dealer to coat your new paintwork and protect it. When you have done this, you also get a bag full of goodies to keep your motorcycle looking its best. And now you can buy the bag of goodies on its own too. So let's take a look at what you get. First is your standard bike wash. Spray it on and rinse off to remove all the stubborn mud and grime. Then we have a degreaser, great for all those oil build-ups, and it's even safe for use on rubber seals. Just make sure you reapply any lubricants you need to afterwards. The next is your waterless cleaner, a quick spray to take off the standard road ride muck without the need for water, as the title suggests. Next is your chrome and metal polish. This helps restore your chrome and also works as ongoing protection. We also have a bottle of Pro Preserve. Now this is a top-up formulation for the dealer applied paint protection, but it is still worth using as a good protective layer. You just simply spray it on and rinse it off. But it's not all about the bike. Lastly, we have a small bottle of Kit Fresh, an all-in-one cleaner and deodorizer for your helmet, gloves and boots. Diamond Bright's motorcycle range is great, and it's worth seeing if your dealer can apply the paint protection to your new bike. Plus, the dealer protection does come with a 3-year guarantee, so that's why we have given it 5 stars.
I am Claire Farrer and today we are going to be talking to you about the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. This is new to 2019. I have to admit, I've been loving it. I've been using it an awful lot. It is tiny! This is the best thing about this thing. It's great. Let's have a look at it. Opening it up. What's kind of cool about this is it does actually come with this carry case, which is very nifty and hard wearing. And here, let's get it out. Oh, dun dun dun! Look at it! It's so small! If I had to describe it as any kind of superhero, I would describe it as Ant-Man because it's small. It's pretty tech savvy and to be fair, it's pretty hot. Anyway, let's chat about some of these little extra bits that are on here. If we have a closer look, these are really cool. So how they fold out is pretty wicked. They've got a pretty awesome little mechanism here. They are really sturdy. You'd think they wouldn't be, but they are pretty hard wearing. And then this bit here is the ignition key. So you unfold them like that, put it on top of that, and screw it onto your canister. One of the new things about the Pocket Rocket Deluxe is that it has this new ignition button at the front here, which is really hefty. And in essence, it basically means that you don't need to carry any extra matches or anything to light this. As soon as you turn it on, click it, it's fire! It's quite simply a turn and click. It's pretty awesome. So you can see here, it's got the pressure regulator on the side here. It's a very simple mechanism to use. You can't really go wrong. I really like the area that it has on top. You can put various different size pans on it. Small, big ones. I've used it to cook all sorts of stuff from stews, curries. Boiling time, oh, you're probably looking about 3.5 minutes, I think they said, for a 1 litre amount of water. And yeah, all round, an absolutely superb bit of equipment if you're going to be doing some general lightweight backpacking because it's so tiny. And if you have any questions for me, by all means do pop me a message and I will hopefully be able to get some answers for you. Thanks ever so much for listening and we'll catch you again next time. Bye!
Well, that was the show. Do tune in next month where we have got some big news about phase 2 of the refreshed Adventure Bike TV. Been one of my I've got a bit of a bleh.
We decided we want.
Do that again. Stop! We decided. On 4, so 1, 2, 3. We decided.
Right.
Okay.
You know, they were just, yeah, blah blah blah.
I love you, Tom. Yeah, but I love you. That's fine. I love you.
Let us talk a little. Hey, Mr. Camera, how you doing? Can't do that, sorry.
Who's most controlled?
Most controlled? I'm not saying.
Not Sam.
No, because you're
Not
going to.
Sam, is it?
They're a little bit erratic sometimes. I think that's
enthusiastic
I think enthusiastically erratic. Is it?
Sound like my mum.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a hair in there. You're coming out. Hello. I'm removing pubes from dinner. Extra nutrition. Can we do that again? Because I think I need to. Come on, Tom. Do you just know it, or have you forgotten it? That's why you're looking at it. He doesn't know it. No, he won't. He'll just push me into the gutter or into the pond, one or the other. Your mum. Sorry, Tom's mum. Unless you want me for a second prize, then I'm not sorry. We'll make sure it all sorts out for you. Don't know what I'm talking about. Woo!
High-end LED fog lights dipped in creamy milk chocolate. The Adventure Bike Shop.
Rubbish adverts.
Great at adventure.